Lifestyle Strategy Team. How can I help you? All right, it's time for our Wednesday's Lifestyle Strategy Team. And joining us in this studio, my senior, your senior manager, Olivia Ih joins us in the studio. Olivia, hello to you.
Hello. How
Olivia,
are you?
I'm good.
Good?
You've been busy, huh?
Yeah. As usual.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how to do it.
I wish I could have a sip of your coffee right now.
No, but seriously, you juggle with a full-time job, an influencer, and a mother of three. Mm-hmm. And I remember we were just talking about, hey, we should like hang out on the weekend or something. But then weekends are always for your kids.
Yeah, usually most of the time.
What about your...
And they're really very demanding, you know. They want to go out. They want to do those things. They want to go to birthday parties. You know, they want to do all these things.
So your husband gets a free day on the weekends?
He rarely gets a free day.
Okay. I see how it is. No, it's cool. I learn a lot.
No, but you know, when you realize that they grow up so fast and soon, you know, they're going to be preteens and they're going to go, Mom, I'm going to go hang out with my friends, you know, then we're going to have our time with my husband at that moment, I guess, right?
You know, I look for that day
You
every
look
single
forward,
day.
yeah.
Every single day. I look forward to it.
Every single day you have your wine time in the evening, right? Once the kids are in bed, no?
Not always. I've been cutting down a bit. Yeah, every other day these days. Which is still a lot. Okay. No, but it's not enough. It's not. But weekends though, I have to say I respect. Mm-hmm. I always use the excuse of I've been busy all this week. I want my time.
Yeah.
To not do much with my kids.
Which I kind of understand. You know, just chilling out at home is good. And we're going to talk about housing housing. Today's construction day, actually.
What is construction day?
I think we only have this in Korea. You know, 건축의 날. What does that mean, right?
What is construction day? Oh my goodness. So we're going to talk about real estate.
Yes, that's right.
Are you interested in real estate?
Very much, yeah. I've always been. I don't know why. I think my mother, the financial education she gave us was just one thing. It was not about saving. It was not about anything else, but it was real estate.
Even in France?
As soon as you have money, just invest in a whatever. It doesn't matter the size of the apartment, right? Yeah. But the most important thing is location. True, 3 times.
True.
So that's what I did. Location. So as soon as I kind of, you know, saved enough money to have a loan and, you know, get a small, tiny one-room studio. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just thought about location, and it ended up quite pretty well.
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah.
And then I
bought it in the end of my 20s. So 10 years ago.
Oh my goodness. At the end of my 20s, I was still kind of busy partying.
Like,
Let's do this. Oh, wow.
So basically, you know, I invested with my brother. So that was like kind of the good part because I was not confident enough to buy my own thing. And my brother was like, okay, if you gather how much do you have? How much does he have? And then we put the money together. We got a loan and we bought this villa, which is located in Hannam-dong area, which is really nice, right? I mean, villas, the price doesn't go up like, you know, apartments, right?
Unless.
But still, this one, it was okay. And it happened that we were able to bring my parents back to Korea because we had bought this place.
Oh my goodness.
So that was the only way. I mean, so my parents retired and they saw that we were just doing our careers here in Asia. Right. It's like there was no point for them to just stay in France. And so, okay, Mom, so Dad, we bought this little place. Maybe if you want, it would be interesting to come back. And then that's how we kind of like... made them come.
Location is important. We'll find out later on. Location is very important, but also timing is very important. Mm-hmm. And just judging by when Olivia bought it, you bought it right before it started blasting off.
Yeah, exactly. I think it
going
was
crazy.
2009, I think. Oh, that's more than 10 years ago. 2009, 2010, maybe.
Oh, geez, you bought it at a really good time.
Yeah, it was a pretty good time to buy. But as I said, you know, if it was an apartment, then would have been rich.
But even still though, because like with the villas in like Hannam-dong, you could always think about like reconstruction, right? The like the reconstruction projects.
So the good part of this place is that, so the place we bought, the architect lives in in the same villa. Right. So what we say villa in Korea is different from what the villas you're imagining.
Yeah, no, it's not fancy villas.
Just let's make sure, So it's just a 3 or 4 story, apartment. You have different lots on different floors, right? So we're on the 2nd floor, and the good thing is it's right across the little park. There's a little park, so they do their their night walks, their morning walks. So it's just really good for retired people and elderly people. Yeah.
I wish someone had told me that I should be investing in real estate at a young age.
It's never late.
Well, you just never know, right? Well, I already bought my house. We'll talk about that. We have a new president now.
Yes.
Right? President Lee. What kind of real estate policies does the new administration have? I mean, that's been like a campaign push and stuff like that.
Right. So I heard, they're planning to increase the supply of housing, which is always actually lacking in Seoul because Seoul is Korea, right?
Yeah.
So they're planning to increase the supply of housing, pushing through, what we call remodeling, redevelopment of those different compounds, the old compounds.
Yeah.
So just tearing down all the, older buildings and housings, and to just make a new format of those, big apartments. The brand with the nice brand,
yes.
and so that's what they're saying. But the economy is so it's not at its best point right now, and all the expenses have increased very much for remodeling and things like that. So we'll see. How it goes. And
it's always, if you look at the campaign pledges of every candidate, there's some sort of real estate.
Always.
If you think about what happened with the previous Moon Jae-in administration, a lot of people say that the fallout was of the administration, and why Yoon was able to win the presidency was because his real estate policies didn't really pan out so well. And so Koreans are very, very big on real estate, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. What do you think will happen to the housing prices in the capital area this year? For quite a bit, it was dropping, and people were just kind of
they were panicking. Why is you just bought an apartment at a very high rate, and then it starts dropping the prices. But I think it's going to go up. A little bit more. On a survey around 1,300 people, they said that about 60% think that the prices will go up. So 60%, pretty much more than half of the population. 30% say it will stay the same, pretty much the same, and only 14% say it will drop.
Yeah, we also had some experts saying that, 90% of the experts predicting that it's going to rise by 1 to 5%. The thing is, right now, recently, the Bank of Korea lowered the interest rate, the key rates, which
to push, people
are going to borrow money again. It used to
I think it's a very good thing, for the economy. If you need to have those, the buy and the selling, go to make the market.
So the funny thing about real estate is there's always going to be 2 groups, right? There's going to be one group who are going to really panic when prices go down, which. The funny thing is most of the campaign pledges are based on we're going to do something about the real estate prices. It's too high. Yeah. But then again, there are a lot of people out there who bought houses.
Who already have those houses,
Bought it at very high during COVID time when interest rates were near zero and people are borrowing money left and right. And so it's not I don't think it's necessarily the Moon administration did poorly with the real estate policies. It's more that the interest rates were so low that people were borrowing money left and right in order to buy houses. And then with demand, the prices go up. And so there's a lot of people who bought houses at very expensive prices.
Yeah, they're having a hard time to even lease.
And then the interest rates go up. And then people are going, and then the prices go down is what's happening. So, but then again, there's also people who celebrate prices going down. And buying on the drop and stuff like that. It must have been, again, you shared your story about buying your home and stuff like that. But my thing is, nowadays in Korea in general, everybody says you have to own a home. It's even taught at a very young age. You have to own a home. But what I find a little bit unusual with your case is that your mom was telling you that you should buy a home.
Yeah.
That's very Korean of her.
So I think my mom, she always lived in the suburban area of Paris, and her dream was to live in Paris. So she always had that in mind. So if I earn money, I'm going to buy something in Paris. If I earn money, because she hated doing the commute, between the suburb and Paris, every single day, just for go to study and go to work. So I think it was so strong in her mind that she said, okay, I need to teach my children not to ever do that mistake. They need to find a way to, be in the city and not waste their time, in the train or in the buses, etc. So I think for her, it was so strong that she said, okay, this is the only thing I know about financial education, but I'm going to teach that to them. And it was just like, just buy a place, a small place, doesn't matter. It could be, 3제곱미터, whatever.
3 square meters.
Yeah, 3 square meter or 4 square meter, doesn't matter. But as long as the location is good, you'll always find a way to sell it to someone and a good price.
It was the other way with my mom because she bought land.
Yeah.
In the countryside somewhere where it just didn't go anywhere. It was a farm.
It just stayed land.
And it was part of the green belt, so you couldn't even build anything.
Right.
And so she was like, never invest in land. I was like, Ma.
What was her philosophy behind that? She just wanted to retire in that area?
No, she thought that because if you have land, eventually they'll start building things.
Well, if you had land in the 70s in Gangnam area, now you're well off.
Let me tell you about my buddy of mine. His aunt, right? She had a bunch of farms.
Yeah.
And they were all like, what are you going to do with all these farms? She's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? That farm area is Pangbedong.
Wow.
And so she had bunch of land there. And let's just say she's filthy rich. She's
so
rich.
It's funny because my father explained to me that back in the 80s, not even 80s, late 70s, I guess, Gangnam, it was just as you said, it was just farm fields, it was nothing. So nobody wanted to actually buy the land in Gangnam because there's just, who knows, it's not going to develop, you didn't know. So they bought actually not land, but small apartments in the northern part, which is above Seoul Station, City Hall. And actually those places they stay the same, right? But they didn't increase as much as Gangnam did. It was all frogs, I heard,
even
개구리밭, right? That's what they say in Gangnam.
Even what is it in Sangam, DMC? Yeah. It was all farm. It was no one was going to build anything there. But that's the media central now, right? There's big money there. I just remember right before we immigrated to the US, we bought we had a small house. It was very, very humble house. Yeah. And we're like, well, this is not going to do anything. We're going to go to America now. We sold it for 2천만 원 or something like that. Wow. Because back then, 2천만 원 was some money.
It was some money to go at least settle in the States. You would need that money, right?
That area is it's what is it? The Bundang right now.
그러네. Yeah.
That's what it is right now. Guys, we're going to talk about real estate and why Koreans are so big on investing in real estate and some of the areas that they're big on. But first, we're going to take a short song break here. This is G-Dragon featuring Taeyang and Taesung with Home Sweet Home. Talked about owning homes. That was GD featuring Taeyang and Taesung with Home Sweet Home. We're back in the studio with Olivia. We're talking about real estate here. Again, Koreans and real estate. Even when it comes to office talk, when friends meet, everything is somehow...
At some point, you're going to talk about real estate. Yeah. You're going to talk what you invest. It's either real estate or either stock market, right?
Why do you think Koreans are so big on the real estate, though?
I think first there's the factor of education, right? Okay. The parents, especially, the parents want to have their kids in the best schools and the best, places where they can, go for education. So hagwons and things like that, right? Yeah. So they usually move. So it's my friends right now are talking about moving to Gangnam for the next step, education, right? They know that the kids are going to go to high school, and it's like, we have to move to Gangnam. We cannot stay here. It's like, what's the matter? Why do you think that, education, it's important, right? But you don't need to sell your house, moving in a way smaller apartment, having all these, hustle and that. I don't know. It's a different psychology. But Koreans are very, very big on real estate. And I think one other thing is that the because you need the life makes it so you're so busy and you need to settle down. It pushes the limit really far. Once you're married, it's like you need to have a house. To at least form a household and have children and etc.
And also, let's face it,
there's a big pressure.
No one likes to move. It's such a hassle to move. Right. And so when you have, let's say, like 월세, and then which is rental, and your landlord wants to raise the price, and you can't cover that, you have to move.
Exactly.
Chunse's even worse because Chunse's even bigger money that you have to put down. And let's say your landlord goes, I'm going to raise it. And sometimes they bump it up.
5%.
And which could be like tens of thousands of dollars. And where does that money come from? When you already borrowed money in order to get Chunse. And so you're forced to move elsewhere. And so the idea that you can live in some place without having to worry about moving, that's a big thing. But then there's also people who go, investment. No matter how much money I make, I can't get rich without real estate.
I think now the MZ generation realize that, so they just decide to just let go on the housing and they just decide to travel. So instead of investing in housing, real estate, they just save up that money and they just go for their own pleasure.
Because it's so expensive now. That's why I said you came in at a very good time. In 2009, it's like it wasn't even probably moving. And so I was talking about another colleague of ours, our 선배님. He was he started investing very early and even a 2-bedroom apartment.
At that time, it
was very cheap. He bought it for 1억, 100,000.
Wow.
And then he sold it for 5억. Right. Then he took that money, went to Ilsan. And then people were like, Ilsan's a dying city.
Wow.
And then he bought a 4-bedroom apartment for 4억. $400,000 for 4 bedrooms. That's ridiculous. You can't hear about that, right? And then that went to 900,000. And so people keep hearing about stories of that, right? And so they go, okay, I could do the same thing. I could do the same thing.
Right. But it's very difficult to do the first step. But once you do the first step and you realize that you can make money out of this, then you're like, man, I made more money in buying and selling than, working crazy for 1 year.
That's why you have to be surrounded by people who are knowledgeable of that and know stuff about it, because I had no interest whatsoever in real estate until I moved to this one new apartment complex, and all of these people had just bought this house.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we were the only rentals. We were the only 월세.
Okay.
And they were like, you have to, do this, you can do this. And I was like, oh my goodness.
They would teach you how to do the steps,
I was like, wait a minute, you don't need the full amount to buy,
okay.
You could do this, you could get the loan, you could do this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and so that's why after living only about a year and a half in that area, we made that jump to go to Anyang, which was the only place I could afford, which, by the way, now it's blowing up. But
still a very good step, right?
Yeah. But speaking of which, I went to Anyang outside of Seoul because everything is so concentrated in Seoul.
Yeah, you're right.
And because everything is concentrated in Seoul, it's so expensive. You can't afford anything in Seoul.
And sometimes you find those because I used to really like visiting apartments just for pleasure, just to see what kind of apartment there is. Yeah. And sometimes there are things that are so ridiculous. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crap, but it's still selling at a very high price because of the location.
Yeah.
Is
it close to the subway?
I mean, just even because, my friend lives in a 60평 apartment in the northern part of the city, right?
Still.
She said, I have to move to Daechidong for my children's education. She's moving into the 30평, right? So she's reducing by half the apartment. It's like, I don't think you can. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult psychologically, emotionally, and doesn't mean that because your children are going to live in that area, they're going to study even better. Right. I mean, what bet is that? It's.
I would much rather have my kids have a big house, and 60평 is big.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to find a place that has 60평 apartment. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And have them just kind of enjoy what they have. And then, because that's the thing, right? They say you can go up, you can move up from 24 to 32.
But you can never go down.
You can't go down with all the stuff in the house.
Yeah. It's so hard. I mean, you could get rid of everything. You just go minimal, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the psychological cost of the moving and the readaptation in the area, you don't know their neighborhood, the kids have to go to a new school, etc. I mean, it could be a good experience, but I don't know how it's going to shift your life to, like a total different kind of way of living. And that's a big question mark. Yeah.
I think maybe our overseas listeners might be going, if it's 60 평, which is a ginormous apartment.
I think it's about 5 bedrooms.
And it's in Seoul.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be enough? Why would that be equal to Daechidong 30 평? Because Daechidong is the number one academy-centered, private education-centered area.
You have all this private institute, the hagwons, what they call the high education, when you have the well of children. And I think the parents want to have their children with, people who are even more well-off than themselves, so they really wanted to have them mingle in those hagwons just for the network or for being in part of the same alumni,
Have you ever been to Mokdong?
Yes, also.
Mokdong, if you see the apartments there, they're old apartments. But it's super expensive because Mokdong is arguably the number 2 private education area. And so price goes up. And so the funny thing with my wife is like, I always say I live in Anyang.
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Yeah.
And but then she goes far and she goes, I live in Pyeongchon. Which is a neighborhood inside Anyang.
Okay.
And Pyeongchon is like the 3rd best private education area.
Wow, you invested really well.
No, but it's like by walking, it's like about like 20 minutes away by walking. But then we're not even Pyeongchon.
Okay. But she prefers to say Pyeongchon. Okay, she's Korean, yeah.
It's like you live in Gangnam, but you don't live in Daechi. But you say I live in Daechi.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. And so everything is based on how good the education is and how good the school is.
Yeah.
And I know that some of the schools that are in my neighborhood, it's like ranked nationally.
Absolutely, that's right.
And then what happens then? If it's close to the schools, then, the apartment prices go up.
Well,
and
the
stuff
funny
like
thing,
that.
we're talking about high school. We're not even talking about universities. Because it's only when there's a high rate of opportunity, of chances that your child goes to good university, so goes to the best hagwons, best, private tutoring, whatever facility, that's where the prices hike.
You know what the irony is? It's funny you mentioned it's not university, because if you go to like Seoul National University area, it's affordable.
Yeah.
If you go to like Korea University up there, affordable. Yonsei, okay, Shinchon, okay.
Yeah, still,
It's up there kind of, but still.
Yeah.
It's ironic. It's cheap.
So once you're done, university, it's a different story.
Because parents are going to move the kids to that area thinking they're going to go to that university. It doesn't work that way. But the belief is that if you go to schools in Gangnam, if you go to schools in like Mokdong, if you go to schools in Pyeongchon, that you'll go to one of those sky areas.
And it's interesting because I talked about this subject with my husband, and he said he was very lucky to be in Gangnam area. So he's from Songpa, right, which is a very good also education. But he was able at that time to go to Yeongdong High School, right? Yeongdong 고등학교.
Yeah, that's a good school.
Which is a very good school. And he said actually shifting from Songpa to Yeongdong, it was already, even within Gangnam, it was another level. So the friends he would meet, he would mingle and everything. And I think it really helped him to go to Korea University.
He's at Korea University.
Yeah. Because he only studied like last year, he told me of his high school.
No, but even still though.
But he said, if I had been in another area, another neighborhood, I don't think I would have, because the mentality, everybody's studying like really hard at that moment. I was like, that's when I decided to really okay, I should put my things up and try to go to good school and show them that I can do, better than what I am now.
Does going to good school mean going to good university? Hold that thought. We'll talk about this and why this also goes into real estate prices and so forth. Let's take a listen to a song here from Rose featuring Bruno Mars with 아파트. And that was Rose and Bruno Mars with 아파트.
Such a hit song, right? 아파트.
No, seriously, even still.
Yeah.
But it's also a very depressing song. That's a game. Well, actually, that's a game. That's a game.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of people go, 아파트. 아파트. And I always do that. I go, what if I invest? I feel like I had so many chances.
Or you had?
I had.
Just forget about those chances. Just build from now.
No, but okay, so even now, you know, one of the things that a lot of people do, have you ever seen like those like really old, like worn down apartments around Seoul? Yeah. You know, people still live there. Mm-hmm. And it costs like millions of dollars, some of them, the ones in Gangnam.
Oh, yeah.
Because what they're waiting for is the reconstruction.
Yeah, reconstruction.
재개발, right?
재개발, remodeling, whatever, you know, all these things. But it's very hard, the process. I mean, we live in an apartment that is like that. So in Oksudong, we live in an apartment area where when you go in the entrance, it say not 재건축, I don't remember, remodeling, 뭐 축하, whatever. You know, it's a big banner. You know what I mean?
재개발 and remodeling is different. You know what the remodeling is? Usually it's the painting. They repaint it.
Oh, repaint? No, I think they keep the structure. They kind of tear down like the inside and kind of remodel the what do you say, the way the apartment is constructed.
Yeah.
And they redo the outside and everything, right? But reconstruction is like you just get rid of everything, and this is it's a much bigger work than the remodeling.
Even repainting it makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
I've seen apartments in our neighborhood because the Anyang was one of the first generation new cities. Like Anyang, Ilsang and Bundang, right? And so a lot of the apartments are very, very old. And so even them doing like repainting, it makes it look like
nicer,
new.
right?
And then they have banners that says congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Like, congratulations. I was like, when's our apartment doing this? But everyone bets on the reconstruction. That's the big thing, right? And so I remember when I bought my apartment, our real estate guy was my father-in-law's hubae.
Okay.
Like a younger colleague. And he was like, I'm just going to tell you this because...
Good infos,
yeah, he was like, don't buy this apartment.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Why?
I mean, it's very affordable. Yeah. I don't have to get too much loan. It's 36 pyeong, which is huge.
Which is big, yeah.
Which is big enough for a family. And it's in Anyang. Great location.
So just perfect, yeah.
Close to everything. I was like, why? He was like, yeah, but it has no, the resale value. Because it's a one single apartment.
Oh, yeah, all right.
13th floor single apartment. And people prefer complexes.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, yeah,
it's right because you never get to have a reconstruction or remodeling on one part, one apartment. It has to be a pretty big compound. We live in a pretty big compound, right?
Yeah.
So they're talking about that. But I heard that, so if you have like a 10-step process, we're about step number 7, but going up to number 10, after it gets even more complicated because usually it's like old people who live in that area.
They don't want to move.
And they don't want to pay, you have to pay extra money, which is like a big amount of money just to move back later into that apartment, right? What they call, I don't remember, there's a name in Korean, but 부담금, I think, or something like that. So it's actually very difficult to manage to have everybody move out and come back like 4 years later and settle in again. So I don't know. But the funny thing is that because there is this big banner, people come and visit apartment and they suggest prices to buy.
Oh, yeah. So it goes up.
Yeah, it goes up. I saw a lot of apartment being sold like very recently. Yeah. Just, I think 4 just in our compound, just because they know it's going to be
reconstructed.
I mean, in a few years, who knows?
But it's a big bet. It's a gamble.
It is.
Because even if you get to like step 7, sometimes something doesn't happen. And it goes... Pff.
Exactly. And that's what happened, when there is a presidential change.
Yeah.
Also, it just goes back, backwards, and then it goes forward again, and it just, you don't know where it goes.
So my apartment is right next to a big complex, but it's old. Very old. And they got the approval for reconstruction.
Okay.
And so the real estate guy, he was like, look, I mean, it's going to be pretty bad. Like they're doing reconstruction. You guys are at the entrance of the apartment. And when they do construction, it's going to be a lot of like dust, like it's going to be bad. And then that's going to bring down the prices and stuff like that. You know what letter we got a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
They're saying due to safety reasons, we're considering your apartment part of the reconstruction. We're like, oh, snap.
Really?
I was telling my wife, I was like, okay it, just okay it.
Oh, yeah.
And so they sent the letter out to letter out to all the homeowners saying, are you willing to go forth if you had the chance? And we're like, yeah. Of course, but even that, we're not 100% sure because what if, like you said, the older folks are going, I don't want to move.
Right, yeah. I mean, you're in trouble, after that, yeah. But our writer, I was talking to our writer, she said she has a very good friend. Every time she moved to a new place, she got a letter.
What?
And she said reconstruction 3 times in a row, she told me. And the last one, she made sure that there was not going to be any reconstruction, whatever. And I think that moment, the government, it was so funny when she mentioned that. But she became rich because she was able to,
keep flipping it.
Exactly.
And that's what people see, right? People are seeing people get rich over. It's the same way with like cryptocurrency, right? Yeah. Everyone is getting not
but it's
everyone.
kind of I wouldn't say it's safer, but it's more the old style, the old way of doing it. Because you have cryptocurrency, you don't really see. You see it in a wallet, but it's
so volatile.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, the real estate recently, I mean, over the past few years, it was very volatile. I mean, people were losing sleep because I know that across the street from ours, there's like a relatively new apartment complex, and when they first opened up, it was being sold at around 400,000, which is very affordable. And then it went up to 13, which is like about $1 million. Yeah. People are like, all right, this is going to keep going up because Anyang's, that area is really nice. So and then it dropped to 900,000. Yeah. So people who bought at peak, they lost 400,000 right away. Yeah. And so when you see that stuff, it's a big gamble.
It is, yeah.
But people still do it. Why? Because they believe that no matter how hard we work, you're not going to be able to touch that money.
Yeah.
But you know what I don't understand, though? It's the loans, though. They're paying off the loans.
Yeah.
They have to pay off the interest.
Yeah, the interest rate is pretty high. I think when we bought our apartment, it was about 4%. Oh, maybe 3%, and it went up to like 4.8%. And that's a lot when you have to pay the monthly, back. So it's like, I think we have to give back like 1.3 million every month.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it used to be like less than 1 million, which is about like what, $800.
So what was cool with the previous administration? Now, there was a lot of things that went wrong with that administration, but the one thing that was going on is as they were pushing for more children. I always say my daughter is a blessing because they had this thing where if you have like a newborn, they had a deal with like the banks, low interest. And so our interest rate, initial mortgage went from something like 6%, which is super high.
Yeah, it's very high.
We're paying something on the lines of like 1.4% now.
Wow. I should ask, what can I get for with
it's too late now because people kept on, people took advantage of that. And then the banks were like, yo, no more.
Wow.
We barely got in on that.
See, you're lucky you bought late, but see, you're having all these things going on and it's just...
We didn't even buy late though. We bought it on the dip. Because they were like, okay, when they got the next door apartment complex got the reconstruction, they're like, there's going to be a lot of like dust and everything is going to be bad. So like the prices were going down. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to buy this. It's cheap right now. And so, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen afterwards. If they don't give me reconstruction, you know what I'm going to do.
So far, so good. Yeah.
I'm going to have to put the red bandana over them and start going
straight.
Give us a new apartment too and stuff like that, which, I mean, it does happen. Let's very quickly, for our listeners out there's 3 different types of ways to have an apartment, right? There's the rental, 월세. There's the 전세, which is very unique. Yeah. And then you buy, which is 매매, right? Have you ever heard anything close to 전세 in anywhere
in any other countries?
No, right?
No, never. No, I think it only exists in Korea. Yeah.
And there are a lot of people, when they hear the 전세 is a one lump sum.
Yeah.
Right. And then like the landlords, they get interest off of that. And that's basically what they're...
Yeah, that's the purpose of the 전세. I think it used to work back in the 90s and then maybe up to the early 2000s. But now the 전세 is because the interest rate, went pretty low.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you don't make much money every month just by putting that money in the bank.
That's why at one point there were 전세s that were more expensive than 매매.
Right. So now I think the landlords, what they prefer is 반 전세, 반 월세. They prefer to have cash on one side, so they do 50-50. So you have a lump sum of money that you give to the landlord. And then they want, like, for example, $700 every month on the side.
You know what's funny with that is they call it 반전세, like half 전세, but that just means high rent.
Yeah, exactly.
High rent.
In the end, it becomes that. But
because they'll just now prefer giving asking for low security deposit and just high rent.
High rents, yeah. I mean, it's cash. It's what they want,
But then, like, some of the areas in, like, Gangnam, when they're asking for something like $3 million a month, that's like a person's salary, right? Yeah. But there's a reason why some Koreans actually prefer 전세. Is if they say the rich people, like the really rich people, they just prefer 전세. Because if you have an expensive apartment, you're paying a lot into the insurance, the property tax. But if it's under a certain threshold, property tax here in Korea is very cheap.
Oh, wow. Well, you know a lot about that.
I mean, I was kind of wishing everybody was kind of like telling me, have you lived in Cheonse? Are you in Cheonse now?
Yeah, we're in Cheonse now.
Do you prefer that over buying?
Honestly, I wish we could sell the older apartment and then buy a new one. But it's a matter of timing. I think it's a matter of timing. So we're kind of waiting and see how it goes. The new president was just elected. Let's see until the end of this year, see how the prices go. And then eventually we'll try to move to a place we own.
대치동?
No. I'm not thinking. The only reason I would want to move is because you have to do the transportation. I mean, drop the children off. It's not really about like education or pretty much, but not entirely. So it's just to avoid doing the back and forth transportation.
We live
never 대치동. No.
2-minute walk away from the elementary school. My kid just has to walk 2 minutes to the elementary school when he starts going, and I think that's something right there. Again, we talked about Korean real estate, why Koreans are so fascinated and so addicted in some ways to real estate, and
education.
Hopefully you don't have to go through that stuff.
Yeah.
Olivia, as always, thank you very much.
Have
a safe
rest
of the week. We'll see you again next week.
See you. Bye-bye.